Hey guys, my name is Maddie and this is my first ever YouTube video. So I've been watching YouTube for forever, ever since I was like 12. And I always watched like makeup videos, I watched vlogs, and I think that's what the most of my videos are going to consist of, as well as kind of the documentation of my faith, because my faith is super important to me. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, because I'm going to be telling you guys about my trip to the Dominican Republic. I was an intern at a school in the Dominican Republic. I worked at a school and I was a teacher. I actually went to the Dominican Republic in January. I was there with my school a week after Christmas break, like the following week after we get back to school. My school does this thing called J-term, and it's where you get to choose to sign up to go on different trips. Some of the stuff is at school, like on campus, and some of it is like Nicaragua, Dominican, So I went to the Dominican Republic, and I went with an organization called SCORE International, and I had a blast. Basically, the most of our work consisted around going to the villages and just playing with the kids. But one day while I was there, SCORE actually went to a school called Freedom International, or Freedom Christian School, and I fell in love. As soon as I got there, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I was actually working in one of the classrooms. The kids weren't there. We were just filling out their notebooks, like drawing letters so that they could trace it the next day at school. And I saw one of the people in the classroom that worked there, and I was like, hi, how can I come back? Like, how can I get involved with this beautiful place? And she was like, sign up for our internship and apply. So as soon as I got home, that's what I did. And that is where I was for 5 weeks of the summer. I was there from July 6th to August 11th. Thank God I got into the internship because my life was changed. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I taught 15 3rd through 5th graders, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I taught 15 3-year-olds. So what that looked like was I would make lesson plans every weekend, and I wasn't teaching off of any curriculum. I was kind of making my own. So what Freedom does during the summer, because their school is in the summer too, where it's kind of like camp, so it's not necessarily for a grade, but they still come to school during the summer, the kids at Freedom Christian. And so basically, I would make one station a day for the whole week. And so, for example, for my older kids, an example of a station that I would plan would be red light, green light, or red rover, but you have to describe the person that you want to call over. So they would be like, red rover, person with the red shirt come over, to try and get them to speak English, because during the day, on all of the days, it was English camp, and then after English camp we had either VBS or Bible camp. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after there's 8 stations, we would go through the 8 stations, and every station was made by an intern. So I had mine. I would eventually go through mine throughout the day. And after English camp in the mornings, then on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we would do Bible camp. So that consisted of a lot of team building activities, a lot of competitions between all the other groups, because I had group 3, which was 3rd through 5th, and then there's other groups that had like 1st through 2nd, or like just 5th, or like just 4th, or just 3rd, stuff like that. So my group just happened to be a wider range of kids. But so during Bible camp, we would do those fun games, and then we would lead songs. So me and my friends Vivian and Lindsay, we would lead songs, and that was my absolute favorite part, because we would sing Spanish and English songs, and it was just so fun to see the kids so happy. And yeah, so that's what my Monday, Wednesday, Friday looked like. On Tuesday, Thursday, I would have my little 3-year-olds in my group, and we would go through the stations like English camp. So for the little kids, the stations were a lot different, like a lot easier. So sometimes it would just be colored blocks, and I'd have to keep on reiterating to them, like, can you say this color? So it was a lot more of like, I would have to like prompt them to speak English. Meanwhile, with the older kids, it would be more so like they're kind of more independent and they know a lot more English. So after the mornings with the little kids, they would leave at 12 to go back to their villages, and then the staff of Freedom and whatever team that had come in that week, because we would have teams coming in and out, sort of like churches or like youth groups, they would come in for weeks at a time. So the staff of Freedom and the interns and the teams, we would go out to the bates, and the bates are their villages. So some examples of the bates that I would go to would be Cabeza de Toro, Campiña, Bejucal, Lima, Ramon Santana. Ramon Santana is a town, but we would still go to that one, kind of like Abate. And yeah, so we would go out into the villages and we would greet the kids, get trying to corral a bunch of kids in with us into a chapel or like a closed off area where then we would have somebody give them a Bible lesson in Spanish, and most of the time it was Scott or Abby who like run Bible camp at Freedom, and it was just really nice to like, I learned a lot of Spanish while I was there, so as I would be listening to the Bible lesson, I would start to understand it the longer I was there, because I was there for 5 weeks. And so after they did the lesson, then we would go out and play with the kids, and it was just so much fun. So that's basically what I did every day during the week. I think if I could pinpoint what I learned while I was in the Dominican, it would probably have to be that I've always wanted to be a missionary, and when I decided to go on this internship, I was like, I'm going to be great at this, like this is what God has called me to do. And then the longer I was there, I was like, yeah, being a missionary is a lot harder than it looks like, because I remember seeing all these pictures and like being like, oh, you're just with cute kids all the time, they're so sweet, I'm sure they just like love being with all these Americans who love them. And that's really it's definitely true, and it's definitely a part of it, but I think what I learned was that being a missionary does not just require you to love, it also requires you to have a heart of service. And sometimes service is kind of service, I think of service and I'm like, I can do it because God has called me to do it, and that's true, but it's a lot harder than it looks. And I had to love on the kids and have patience with the kids, even when they told me they hated me, and even when they were like, I would have to send them to the corner for like the 8th time in a row. And I think that I learned that doing God's work as a missionary is very, very difficult, but it is so rewarding at the end, because you see how the kids really do grow and start to understand that the reason that you discipline them is because you love them. And although it was really hard to keep on being the mean teacher and be like, go to the corner, goodbye, I just had to understand that God sets those same parameters for me. Like in his word, it tells us what sin is, and it's like, for me, I had to be the person in those kids' lives that said, you can't hit that person, that's not nice, you have to go to the corner. So I think for me, I learned a lot about discipline, and I learned a lot that parameters are there for us so that we know that we are loved and so that we ultimately grow. And I watched my kids grow. I watched them be nicer to each other. I watched them be nicer to me. I watched them be nicer to other interns, and it was just really, really great to see that happen and see them be challenged every day. And what I've also kind of decided is that I'm going to do this with my life. Like, it's what I want to do for sure. Like, I know this for a fact. And I had hard days. My birthday was really hard because I was away from home and I turned 18 in a different country, and it was just kind of like, I wish I was with my friends and my family. But I think that what God showed me there the most is that it isn't about me. It's about loving on these kids, and it's about having the patience that God has with me with them. And that's just the biggest thing I learned, and I'm so excited if this happens to be my plan in life. I'm obviously only 18, so I don't fully know what I'm going to do with my life, but from right now, that is what I'm most passionate about, and I'm so, so thankful that I got to be a part of it. I'm going to try, hopefully do an internship with them again next year, but if that doesn't work out, then you'll probably see me at Young Life working on work crew, because I want to do that too. I have a lot of things I want to do. But so yeah, that's my story about my time in the Dominican Republic. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. I'm going to be coming out with videos. I don't know what my schedule is because this is my first ever YouTube video, and this is very scary for me to be starting right now. But I'm excited because I'm really passionate about YouTube, and I'm passionate about creating things. So yeah, see you soon. Bye.